Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is day for you guys, my friend. Welcome back to another episode of DigiModify, a Digimon mini podcast series where we talk about anything and everything Digimon card game related that we both share the love for so much. And I am your host, the Nerd Steve, aka whatever you really want to call me. And today we will talk about a little bit about GenCon and the events that happened at GenCon, the decks that did pretty well, and a little bit about the meta moving forward. But before we do all that, I do want to as you guys, if you guys do enjoy the content that we do put up every Tuesday and Thursday for our mini podcast, make sure to leave a like down below. Does let me know that you guys are enjoying it, as well as if you guys are really enjoying the whole series. I do hate to ask, but if you guys can hit the subscribe button, and if you guys are already subscribed, make sure to hit the bell notification so that you guys can get notified when we do put up a new video every single Tuesday and Thursday for our mini podcast series. But on that, we'll at least be talking about today, with the amount of tournaments that had happened this weekend, just in the last 4 days on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What exactly happened? What just a little bit of context of the tournaments that happened. We had exactly let me check real quick. We had exactly 6 tournaments that happened over the weekend. Starting on Thursday, like GenCon is like a well-known like anime convention that a lot of people do go to. Anime and card games. I know that a lot of people go to GenCon for cosplays, for like anime stuff. I know a lot of the Magic the community go there for a Commander Fest as well. But last year we did have events that happened at GenCon for the Digimon card game, and unfortunately I couldn't do it because it was all like online, and I believe if you were to go in person, it was very, very hard to get a ticket because it was, one, really expensive to go, as well as the like offline tournaments were very, like, because of COVID, were still very strict. But now, because the COVID's a little more died down, air quotes, died down a little bit, a lot of people were able to go to GenCon, and I'm very jealous because I really wanted to go. That I really want to go to a like anime convention, and a lot of our bigger like tournaments happen at a like anime conventions or like during another event, so it kind of makes it hard for me to go to, since you pretty much have to pay double, like one for the convention and one for the tournament, so it makes it a little bit harder for a lot of us to go. But unlike a lot of the videos that have been offline for GenCon, they did run 2 of the events were also online, so that was very good for like those who went to participate in it. But for the events that we had, they had one Ultimate Cup on Thursday. They had 2 regionals, one on Friday and one on Saturday, and they had the DC1 Grand Prix, which is pretty much like a smaller tournament where they have the specific prizes during the GenCon. I believe last year they had that, and they the pricing was the All Force line, so whoever got like the first place got the full line. I believe for this one is for the Galamon line. I don't remember exactly, but they did also have one on. They had the 2 regionals and the DC1 Cup on Sunday. But the online events on Friday, we had the DC1 the Cup event, as well as on Sunday we had a regionals as well. And the decks that did so well were incredible. This meta is looking so diverse, and I absolutely love it. But for the 4 online events and the 2 like online events, the meta is just so crazy. So for the Ultimate Cup, we actually ended up getting D Reaper to win another event. That's the second event in a row that D Reaper has won, and I think that people are not respecting the deck enough, where D Reaper now doesn't from the decks that have been winning, they don't run any tamers anymore. There's no base to go off of. They're just playing pure D Reapers, and I believe that now a lot of people are hopping on that train once again because a lot of people are not respecting the actual games. Are not they're not respecting the deck itself, or they're not running anything to prevent the gatekeeper from stopping them from winning the game. Because once the gatekeeper is out, decks can't really do anything unless they get rid of the D Reaper or get the security attack +1. But if two of the gatekeepers are out, then you really can't do anything for the entire game, and you're just pretty much locked out of the game until you get rid of that, which for a lot of decks are very hard. And I believe having a big stack deck where removal is not very much in the main deck anymore kind of makes it really hard for decks like the Security Control, decks like the Mega Room on X, Wargame on X, and like Alphamon to pretty much get a free win off of like the repair, because they don't run a lot of removal, or if any. And unless you have the security attack +1 or above, you really, once they get set up, you just have to take the loss because you can't get past the gatekeeper. But yeah, like Imperial is now starting to climb back up to the popularity because it a lot of times just auto wins against like D Reaper because of how fast the deck is. But D Reaper does get a boost with the X antibody like option being as a additional source, letting them get one turn ahead. But besides, before we go into a whole like D Reaper episode, a lot of decks for the BT9 format are now very, very viable. Now we have decks like Green OTK is back and full of action. The top 16 for a lot of these events are now very much diverse. The pie chart for these are incredible, and I'm really happy about that. If we go into the top 32, we see decks like the Galamon, still doing like a lot of work. But for the top 16, we do have the Green OTK. We have like Alphamon in the mix. We have Imperial Dramon. We got the Medical Room on X antibody. We have the War Greymon like X antibody. We have the Galamon Control in there. I believe one of the events, a Bilzamon Purple Hybrid managed to get in the top 16, which that was a very diverse deck, and I so want to try that deck out because it just looks like so much fun using the Purple Hybrid like engine as your like mid-range plays, while still running the Bilzamon like engine, running the Impmons and the Bilzamons just looked like a really fun deck to play. We have the Security Control still doing work, being able to control a lot of the like OTK decks from really going off. We have Armor Rush still being one of the decks that if they're left on like uncontested, they're going to do work no matter what. With that, we have the Galmon / Blackrock Greymon deck, where you just play a whole lot of control. You have a good matchup against certain decks. With all of these decks being in the meta right now, which ones do you guys think is worth playing? Which decks are you guys going to be playing? For the regionals, we've had such a mix of stuff. A buddy of mine got 6 ways with like Green OTK. Their only loss was to the mirror. A couple of my friends being able to get to the top 128 to the top 32 with different decks overall. One of my friends that got the top 128 played like Lilithmon, which a lot of people think that deck's going to be dead, and they managed to get a top 128 spot. I'm very proud of them, and just seeing the diversity of this meta makes me really happy to play this game, because it's no longer being like dominated by just one deck or one or two decks in the entire meta, and it gives thought of like how do you want to build for this deck? Do you want to just run your own build and be able to just run at least one or two all of the floodgate cards and just try to pull off your strategy as fast as possible? Or do you guys enjoy being in a 1-2 deck format? Because I believe in this game itself, we've had a lot of like meta where the top decks were like one or two decks, or one of like 2 to 3 decks where they just dominated so much, where in the top 16 you only saw those 3 decks and that's it. And I believe that brings very little fun to the game itself, where at least here you're able to, your whole matchups can throughout a big tournament can be completely like diverse, and I find that so much more fun, being able to find ways to beat the different decks that you can with what you're running with. Like for me, I'm running the Medical Room on X, and I believe that deck has a decent matchup versus a lot of the meta right now. And depending what you play against, you have to play a little bit different. If you're playing against the Green OTK, you have to hide in the back and just go super like OTK, like before they get a chance to go like pure OTK. Against like Alphamon, I believe it's the same way. In Pilgrimon, you just have to like try to control the board while trying to play your own OTK against like the Reaper. You have to beat them as soon as possible before they get the 6 sources, because you don't really have any type of mass removal in that deck. Against like Almond, you just have to try to beat them at their own game. Against the security control, you have to poke at the security as much as possible, so that when you do go for your big like OTK play, you're able to not die from their security. Against like Armor Rush, just try to bounce their low force as often as possible, and you control the board with just the Medical Room on X. Such a great way to beat that deck overall. From the results of these few like events that has happened, as more decks get put out, as more of the results get put out into the public, we're going to see that a lot more decks are going to be a lot more viable. And yes, there's going to be 1 or 2 decks that are going to be still really, really good, but they're able to be contested by whatever you decide to play. Like Alphamon, still such a powerhouse deck. I believe it did win the regionals for. I do believe it won the online regionals on Sunday, but on the other events, it just made it to the top 16. So, is it that going to be the number 1 deck? Possibly, but other decks have such a great chance of doing well. And in this in the PT9 format, since we do have it for the next few months, just enjoy just play what you want to play, and just enjoy playing what you want to play and have fun with it. On that, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think the meta is going to bring. How much diversity do you think it's going to bring? Let me know what you guys are going to be playing, and what do you guys think is worth being the number 1 deck so far. On that, have yourself a fantastic day. Hope you enjoy this mini podcast. Have yourself a fantastic morning, evening, or afternoon, whatever time it is for you guys. I am the Nerd Steve, and I'll catch you guys in the next podcast. Later, guys.